Best. Hey, Logan, how are you? We're on Gran Torino. What's up, buddy?
Not much.
That's good. Good to hear. So, we're doing a deck doctor here today because Logan supported me over on Patreon, and we get to take a little peek at his Gran Torino deck. We've played, right? We played with this deck and on stream. Is that true? Am I remembering this correctly?
No, I have not built this in TTS or anything, so it was not me. If somebody else has done something similar,
yeah, it certainly was. They just tried to mollywop me with ricochet charges, and it worked. It worked. Put some respect on this card for sure. So hit me with the idea of what's going on with this Gran Torino deck, because I'm in love. I think this deck is very, very cool.
The idea out the gate was just to try and hit with a lot of stun and keep clearing the card pool, keep progressive difficulty down, and then hit into 1.3 million with hopefully 6 or so foundations tapped. So looking at it being base damage 11,
right?
And then you blocked it, that's fine. I'm gonna build it down, throw something else at you, use Gran Torino, pick it up back at you again.
Yeah. I keep some Gran Torino, and I look at his other two symbols, good and void, and I'm like, whoa, these are so crazy. They got such heavy hitting moves and blah blah blah. And, I mean, he gets to pick up Indiscriminate twice, right? And then discard the last card in your hand to make sure this thing hits you. Yeah, I mean, I dig it. I dig it a lot. Pillar Swing, clearing itself is red. It is also a charge, right?
Yep.
So we can put it in our stage if we want to. Man, yo, this deck is sweet. This deck is sweet. Okay. We gotta really jump into it. So obviously, Jolt is an insane card. Shock's an insane card. I love Pillar Swing. Ricochet Charge is fine. It's fine. I think it might be good in this build because of all the stun, but like it's whatever to me. Especially Sound Waves. How are you feeling about this card?
I threw it in there when I started thinking about the ability to blow up a foundation. So if I threw either a meteor shower into the discard, or if I threw 1.3 million into the discard, that I could use specialized sound waves to cycle things not just out of my stage, but out of my discard. If I use Gran Torino's ability to blow up a card, throw it into my discard, pick up one of the other attacks, build something down, use specialized to get what I threw into my discard back up,
right,
and then set my checks up.
That makes sense. That makes total sense to me. Meteor Shower looks really cool, especially with being able to like pseudo loop them with what Gran Torino's got going on. Zero Gravity Lift. How do you feel about this guy?
Again, it was a card pool idea, or a card pool clearing thought with it. Was a great opener. So first turn open, Zero Gravity Lift. Next turn open, Electric Jolt. Use Zero Gravity Lift, clear Electric Jolt, throw an attack, Electric Jolt. So Electric Jolt basically becomes a stun 2 attack.
Right.
And then go into Ricochet, because now my card pool is clear again. So Ricochet is stun 2, so that's stun 4.
Yeah.
Into Electric Jolt, which is basically stun 6. Or into 1.3 million volts.
Right.
Which basically at that point I'm at stun 6 plus whatever you already played.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds great, and we get to kind of like live in that magical Christmas land because of Gran Torino being able to abort and pull things and then pick it back up if we wanted to. The reason I brought it up is this card and Gran Torino, they don't love to work well with each other, because if you do respond with Gran Torino to build this card, even on the full or partial block, you don't get the damage because Gran Torino aborts the attack because it never gets to the damage step.
Yeah, I would not use Torino to clear that from the pool.
Okay.
The idea would be that it's heading to momentum.
Right. And then Long Lasting Explosion, 5 mid for 6. I love this at the 1 of. I think it's really, really cheeky. I think it doing big things with Lift, Meteor, Specialized, making this very fast, right? So making it a little less impactful to block. Feels very cool. Feels very good. We got to cut something, right?
Yeah, we got to cut a lot. We got to cut a lot of somethings.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's almost a 90 card deck or something crazy.
What's the number we're trying to get to here?
I like to sit somewhere around 65.
Okay, I can live with that. I can live with 65. It means a lot of this stuff's gonna go to the sideboard, like a lot of this stuff, to the point where I don't even want to pull extra cards out. I just want to work on slimming.
And that, I mean, because it's pretty much got everything in that I thought I might like to run, and then, yeah, I say it's so rough. That's what I was saying earlier. It's a really, really rough draft.
100%, 100%. So let's start off with the attacks. So the number one rule of cutting is we take all the 4 diffs or 4 ofs and we make them 3 ofs, and we just start working our way down that way. But like, I don't think cutting Jolt is the right answer. I don't think cutting Indiscriminate is the right answer. I think we could genuinely cut Ricochet Charge altogether, right? Taking this down to a 23, or even if we wanted to put this at like another 1 of, right? And having a 24 card deck, the threat of Ricochet Charge might be just enough, right? Because we don't need more low blocks, right? Is the big thing, right? We've got a 4x low block here, a 3x low block here. We don't need 4 more, right? When we look at block zones, we would have actually like what, 8, 9, 10, 11 low blocks on our attacks and 8 on our highs. Man, that's so much, so much. Yeah, but how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on Ricochet going down?
Yeah, I'm open to whatever right now.
Okay. My other idea is let's take 0 gravity and put it down to a 3 of, just exclusively to cut numbers, because this card is not allowed to interact with our character. We're just not allowed to use our character's ability on this card at all, right?
Right.
And then I think Specialized Sound Waves at a 2 of is the right move. We are going to be aborting a lot of moves, and so that means a lot of stuff's just not going to find itself to momentum, especially because as I look, we're not playing something like Short Fuse, right? Or not Short Fuse, Charged Up to cheat some momentum. We're not playing Wealthy Aspirations. We're not playing Home Run Comet, and so like finding this momentum is actually a little tough.
Yeah, the Jolts and the 0 gravity lifts were the only cards that I had envisioned actually being momentum cards.
Correct.
Those cards are going to land in momentum.
Right. Well, I complete 100%, but that means that this has to be at bare minimum a turn 3 card, right? Because just playing this card as a 4 high for 3 to just draw a card, maybe put it in our stage on prime 2, like it's like it don't feel great. It don't feel great. So we don't need 3 of it. I think 2, just to go and rebuy back some attacks is totally fine, right? Go set up a long lasting into some crazy big move. I dig it. And then we're down to 22 attacks, which means if we find the rest of our foundations, we're at exactly a third. Third of our deck is stuff. Fair?
Fair. Works for me.
Okay. Ultra compressed weights. You hate Froppy, huh? Just can't stand her?
It's in there just because my local meta, there's quite a few people that like running Froppy.
Boop.
So I just threw it in there as a 1 of.
I think it's going to be the sideboard card. I think this card is incredibly, incredibly good. I think it's really good, and it will be good for set 2. I'm very happy that it's coming out as one of these plus ultra cards. I think that mainboarding this card, not in a asset-based deck, is probably going to be a mistake. If we feel as a community we have to mainboard ultra compressed weights, something needs to change in like a ban list wise. This has the most sideboard energy I've ever seen of any card of all time.
It also works against Torino, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It works against Torino. It works against Ochako. It works against Denki. It works against like the air symbol as a whole, right? A lot of card pool clearing, a lot of card readying. But what happens when you run into like 4 Shigarakis, right? What happens when you run into a Nomu, right?
It's a 2 mid block.
It's a 2 mid. Hey, we love 2 mid blocks. I just don't think this card has enough true value. Like we can compare like your main board strategy of like, hey, I got to get the job done of ultra compressed weights to earphone jack. Even like 1 and 1, it doesn't make sense, right? We're just gonna cut one of these for the sideboard for the second one. I would rather draw 2 earphone jacks and hold one as a high block than to play out both these assets, because like this one might just be dead on board.
Gotcha.
Right? Because the big thing is I believe, and we're gonna have to get a hard ruling, right? Of response commit after your attack deals damage, choose one commit of rival foundation. While this card is committed, the chosen foundation cannot be readied. Period. This ability falls off at the end phase because the game goes back to a refresh state. And so ultra compressed weights doesn't see that it's targeting anything anymore. The response commit is exclusively for my opponent trying to re-ready things during the combat phase, such as like a small and limber. Right? So this card like beats this card, but it doesn't lock down a foundation. It's not. I don't know if you're an old head or not. It's not the freeze keyword, right?
Oh, it's not freeze. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was the MHA version of freeze.
This is not freeze. It stops amphibious, right? On the defense. If you can somehow hit somebody and like a thing that you want them not to ready with requesting, right? If they've been greedy and they're not going to do it, this touches it, which is why it's a sideboard card.
I gotcha.
Yeah. If it was freeze, I could totally see that. I think everybody plays it on one of a main board, right? Be like, oh, that one. Sorry, buddy. And if that's the ruling that they come out with, like that's the way the card was intended to work, then yeah, we can talk about putting it back in the main board. But it's whatever. Ready, set, go. Just want to live in Magic Christmas Land, huh?
I threw it in there as a one of. Again, when I was going through and looking at things, I'm not sold on it being in there.
I think this card has a really tough spot if you're not a 7-hander. I think playing this card after Prime 1 is tough. I mean, its name, Ready, Set, Go, is like really indicative of how it wants to be played. I want to play it on my Prime 1 because you played the game correctly, right, according to Set 1 theory, and you were going to punish it. I think this card's going to be the most punishing card for the first 2 months of Set 2, and then people are going to start playing around this card, and then it's going to fall off, and then people are going to go back to playing theory from Set 1, and this card might see a small resurgence, but it won't be what it was.
Where you got first turn building 4 or 5 foundations.
Correct. And then you just windmill slam down.
Yeah, player 2 responding and building 2.
Yep. 100%. I think if you wanted to cut something early, like we're at what? 80 cards. We can just get rid of this. But we'll look at foundations first because I think this card is fun. It's a fun card. Are you trying to shop for garlic?
I don't know. She's having a thing over there. I don't know what she's up to.
I love it. It's very funny. Okay,
I don't want to say her name because she'll start talking again.
For sure. So let me just shoot from the hip. One of Confused, one of Fighting Spirit. Or 2 of Fighting Spirit. What are these cards doing? Confused is red. Fighting Spirit is weird.
They were just cards I was throwing in, going through, thinking, and looking.
Boop. I
don't remember what Confused does.
Fighting Spirit is gone. Confused strips keywords from things, which is really, really cool. And I think it's going to be one of the biggest uncommons of the set. I think it's going to be like as good as something like a Manly Passionate Guy. I think this card's cracked.
Yeah, it was in there for the like, oh, you're playing Sue, I'm going to strip range from your attack, or I'm going to strip kick from the attack, or
I completely
you're playing
agree.
All Might 3, I'm going to take away from it.
Yes, it forces it to be the first ability, which is why I've put up to a 3 of, because the other thing that it does is it strips throw, right? Because we're not we are playing Walkling, which I think we get to bring down to a 2 of now because we have Confused. We get to save ourselves a 4-check, and it's the same block, right? Like they do the same job, but like the Confused is just like an overall better well-rounded card. I think playing 4 Walklings in the future, even 3 Walklings in the future, is probably not what's going to happen as long as you're on the air symbol, right? Maybe on Life and Water we still get this, but then we have hand traps like Face Shield, or we have Walkling, right, to help us defend there. I think the days of 3x 4x Walkling is actually in the past, personally.
Gotcha.
First day of class, this card easily could be cut down to a 1 of. I think it's neat, but I don't think it's necessary. This is exclusively because we're just trying to find room, right? Observant Student's amazing. Amphibious, amazing. Release, amazing. Another one of those cards we could cut down to 2 if we're feeling it. It's good spam, but it's that 4-check, you know? Specialist of Sound is in the exact same boat as Walkling. I think the days of it being a 4 of is over. I think this card's going to be a 3 of for the rest of its life. Just because we have more things we're allowed to do with stuff. Destined is still going to be a 4 of, and I think Latent's still going to be a 4 of. There are more things to interact with Latent skill, but I think in a deck like this where we have to find our gas, it is important that we have the good ones. Encouragement. Tell me about this card. are you thinking?
Again, it was going back to the whole idea of keeping my card pool clean,
Yeah.
interacting with. Oh, you didn't block my electric or my 1.3 million volts because I'm going to build it down and pick it up again. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'm going to throw it into my discard. Then I'm going to use specialized sound wave to stack it and get it back.
I love that. I love that. I think this is the world's easiest two of. I think this is not a linchpin card, right? This is not a gotta have it card. This is a neat card, right? I think I use that. Right.
Right.
Need, want, neat, tech, something like that. I think that's what I said. I don't know. There's a Tam talk about it. Go look it up. Arrogant disposition. Just for the
It's
6.
too low and a 6 check.
Love that. I think we're gonna put this at a 2 of as well. We'll come back and look at block zones whenever we're done. Aggressive temper. What's going on here?
Just with all of the destroying foundations off Gran Torino's response, blowing that up. Well, that doesn't. Never mind. That doesn't do anything.
Does nothing. It's really cool with Gran Torino's Enhance. You discard a card. You can discard Aggressive Temper to give it the +2 damage, or discarding cards with Meteor Shower gives +2 damage. This is the greediest card of all time in your deck.
Yeah.
This card's gone. This card's so greedy.
No.
I think it was a good thought with Gran Torino's response, but it doesn't even work even on the partial.
In my mind, I was thinking it would respond with Gran Torino, but then after I thought about it, I was like, no, yeah, that doesn't work. Never mind.
Yeah. Love Short Circuit. Short Circuit is cool. How do you feel about this card?
I've run into it where it has won games.
Fair. Let's look at our little box.
Someone's beefing up a Detroit Smash or something crazy to throw at you for the kill, and you just reset it back.
Yeah, I think that this card. Where did it go? Short Circuit. I think this card might be a sideboard card. Like, think about what this card does in the mirror match, right? Like, we had 2 more characters that like hyper fixated on the charge keyword again. And so my issue with this card is the charge is so overly represented in the game that it just like a third of the time it's dead. And that might change for set 2.
Jiro Ochako.
Yeah, we've got Jiro Ochako. Gran Torino focuses on charge. Denki focuses on charge. Ochako 3 focuses on charge. There's just a lot of charge moves. But for every indiscriminate shock, there's a Howitzer Impact Cyclone that this card would love to hit. So I think it, in the sideboard is probably where it just wants to live. That's how I feel about it, at least. Double Shock Treatment, requesting assistance. If we wanted to find more room, we could put this down to a 3 of, because you're not going to be so reliant on your momentum, because like it's only this and we're spending it. It's only this and we're probably spending it for a Meteor Shower. So this could be here, but we're technically at 66 while keeping it at the 4 of. And this was like without any changes, we have hit our number, right? So before we move on to the second half of like fixing numbers, is there anything in here that you disagree with so far? Anything that I've said?
No, like that Ready Set Go could probably go. Like I said, it was just in there as I'm thinking about, maybe do I want to have this in here?
Yeah. Okay, I'm into that. I'm into Ready Set Go being Ready Set Gone. My personal opinion is I think Torino should be playing a lot of attacks. I think he should be playing more than normal. So I think leaving the attacks at 22 and like slimming this down to like closer to like a 60 card deck, maybe like 63 might be where it's at. I think 66 is not the right number, because we want to draw more than 2 attacks in a 6-card hand, right? Like that's what this says, is 2 attacks, 6-card hand. We want to draw 3 attacks, or like 3.5 attacks in a 6-card hand, especially because we get to pick one up. This character is a different flavor of Ochako 1, right? Which is why I am trepidatious to try this character, because I don't want to like him more than Ochako 1.
Because he's going to pick it up from his stage instead of from his momentum.
Correct. And my opponent's going to discard a card as opposed to me getting 3 speed. Yep. But he gets to he gets to clear on anything, and it's on my opponent's response to let me have the card, where she just gets it. It's weird. It's interesting. It is interesting. Where are we at? We're at 65? Man. If I had to cut one card, what would it be? If I had to cut one card, what would it be? Block zones say that it's either a high or a mid. So let's look at those, right? High or mid. We could cut a latent skill down by 1, but I think that's not a great move. We could cut confused down by 1. Actually, what we could cut is we could cut an earphone jack down to 1. I think that's not a terrible play. But giving +1 speed on your stuff is really, really good.
Yeah, because everything is charge.
Yeah.
And it's still a 1 high.
Yeah.
I would prefer to leave earphone at a 2-0.
Then it's there. Then it's totally there. That means that we have to cut mids, which might just be the requesting down to a 3 of.
Requesting assistance down to a 3 of, yeah.
And then I think we run it at 64, and then from there you get to mess around and play with it. Yeah. All in all, I think this is a solid looking list. I really, really like this attack lineup. And the fact that like you can play all of this, right? And then just sideboard into an Ochako, sideboard into a Jiro, and like feel great. And feel really, really good if the discards are not getting you there. If they're opting not to block, I think the Ochako is just like the way better choice, right? And so the fact that you've got the options to do these, and this lineup looks really good, I dig it.
Yeah, Jiro was going to be the sideboard, and then I was going to include more, whatchamacallits, the blade that pulls an asset from the graveyard.
Unwavering Slash.
Unwavering Slash, thank you.
It lets us cut like the 1 ricochet charge, and like lets us cut the like 1 of the pillar swings. Maybe the long lasting could go. Maybe 1 jolt if you want to do 4. I think 3 is fine, right? 1, 1, 1, and then let it rock. Yeah, I dig that. All right, brother. Anything else that you can think of? Because I think this is a list good enough to start testing, right? I think test this, maybe come back next month and see what's up.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I love it. All right, man. Let me end the video. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I greatly appreciate it. We'll shoot you the link, and you can be on your way.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks, buddy.